Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, and as always, thank you so much for coming back. Today we are going to finish the Rising Sign series. We are going to be finishing off with Aries Rising. My normal spiel at the beginning, if you're new to this video, just stumbling upon it and interested in what a rising sign is, this basically defines the first impression of the chart. So it kind of explains the outer persona, how do other people perceive you. It can kind of explain why your friend might be super sweet, super gentle and loving with you, but when he or she or they meet someone for the first time, they might be super loud and kind of aggressive, or they might be super private and kind of like unable for anyone to crack their shell, their outer shell, or they might be someone who comes across as really quirky and different. And so the first impression, for all intents and purposes, just explains why do I come across the way that I do to other people. Depending on if it makes what's called a square or an opposition to your, let's say, sun sign or your moon sign, then that can explain when the rising sign feels a little bit difficult for you, where you don't feel like the outsides are necessarily matching the insides. You don't really understand why you come across the way that you do. It can kind of be the Achilles heel of your chart. Versus if your rising sign makes a trine or a sextile, for example, to your sun sign or your moon sign, then you might feel like, yeah, like there's a lot of harmony between my first or a conjunction, by the way. My first impression seems to match how I feel on the inside, or at least it flows, and at least I feel a little bit like they're on the same page. Aries rising, shall we? This basically explains the leader. This is someone where they completely approach life through the lens of, I have to do it first, I have to do it better, and I have to do it fastest. So I would say self-sufficiency is probably a really perfect term to encompass what this rising sign is. You can hear stories of, I was the oldest sibling, so I had to be self-sufficient, or just the way that my family dynamic was set up, it was highly encouraged for me to, let's say, cook my own meals, or just care for myself in any way, or to be successful at a super young age. There's something very precocious and ambitious about an Aries rising. Appearance-wise, they can have something about them that feels very kind of like aggressive and proud and strong. So for some people, it's like a really strong brow line where there's a certain level of seriousness and intensity to them. For other people, it's just an energy that they give off of sort of, don't mess with me, I really know what I'm doing. For that reason, they tend to kind of like do life's milestones a little bit faster than other people. So maybe they get their first job younger than other people. Maybe they become a manager younger than other people. Maybe they even become, let's say, a CEO of a company younger than other people. So to have an Aries rising, no matter what else is in your chart, really just tells a story of like, I'm here to get shit done. I'm here to be successful. I'm here to be taken seriously. And I'm here to do things that I've never been done before. The hallmark trait of both Aries as a sun sign, a moon sign, and a rising sign is really just the story of, I don't need a blueprint, I don't need to follow rules, I don't really need to follow anyone's direction. I pretty much just use my intuition as a guiding force for how to live my life. So for this reason, if they, like as partners or as friends or anything like that, they're not necessarily the friend that you go to dinner with and they say like, I need your advice. I have no idea what to do next with my career, with my life. I just, I don't know what to do, Nadine, I feel lost. That's not going to be the case with an Aries rising. There's a certain level of self-assuredness, maybe even a fake it till you make it mentality, where they just are sort of like, as long as I put one foot in front of the other, and as long as I'm charging head first into my future, then everything's gonna be okay. I'll figure out the rest as I go. I don't need to plan for details. That's the last thing that I will say about this rising sign is, unlike, let's say, a Virgo rising or a very thoughtful, let's say, Taurus rising, the Aries rising is very impulsive. It does not like to plan for things. So this is the type of person where like making plans with them is going to be an interesting task, where you have to leave a certain level of kind of like, you need to give them some room and some flexibility. Maybe also you have to manage their schedule a little bit, where you just put on their calendar and just hold them accountable, because for the most part, these people like to do something different and unique with their day every single day. It's always new. I always have to get shit done. I'm always on to the next. I'll go, 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 go. So yeah, I think to encompass, if I could say like maybe one phrase for an Aries rising, is just sort of like the CEO, just and of their life, like not even necessarily of a company. I'm the CEO of my life when I'm an Aries rising. So anyways, I hope this does you guys justice. Or actually I didn't mention this at all. This means that Mars rules your chart, and Mars is the god of war. It's a planet of action. That's what I mean by that sort of certain level of impulsivity, not necessarily being able to schedule firm plans, not even wanting to schedule firm plans, wanting to keep your day open enough to kind of like fly by the seat of your pants. Mars is just the planet of doing shit. So that rules your chart if you're an Aries rising, and it kind of will define and give a really interesting color to your chart no matter what your sun and your moon are. So if you're an Aries rising, I would just ask yourself, why was it useful for me to be this way in my family of origin? Was it useful for me to be self-sufficient because people weren't? Or was it just an expectation that I was when I was brought into this world, that I was going to be a productive person? So I think that does it justice. Yes. All right. So we are done with the rising sign series. I'm so excited to create new content for you guys and like diversify what we're going to be talking about a little bit. So stay tuned. If you have any questions or comments, as usual, leave them below, and talk to you guys soon.